Hello, happy Thursday, my loves. Um, I want to just get right in, and I think what I want to do today with you is just give you a video instruction of what your day is going to look like in writing. Okay. Like this whole week, I've been just giving you lots of slides, and what I really want to do right now is make sure that I give you a very clear explanation. Okay. So what happens with writing when we write essays is that we read stories, we gather evidence, and we have this idea that we have to prove about the story. So the way we prove whatever it is that we want to prove is using evidence from the story. So today we're going to have a new story. This is a story that you've already read. It's called Those Shoes, and you'll see in the slide that you can just click on it. There it is. You'll pull it up on the screen and you can peruse all of this text again. You're going to use this to get your text evidence. You're also going to use it to get a reminder of what the story. Remember, it's a story about the boy, and he wants the shoes, and his shoes rip, and he gets Mr. Alfrey's, these little shoes, and everybody's laughing at him. Everybody except this one boy, Antonio. Ultimately, he goes with his grandmother to buy those shoes, and they're way too expensive. So he uses his own money to see if anybody has, given them to a thrift shop. And eventually he does find the shoes for $2.50, but they don't fit. And so he wears them anyway, and it's a horrible experience, and he gets blisters on his feet. Long story short, he knows that he can't keep the shoes. They don't fit him. And this poor little boy, that is his friend, Antonio, who's got taped up shoes, actually needs the shoes. And he decides that he's going to give the shoes to Antonio. Tries them on one last time. They clearly don't fit him. And he gives them. And then it snows that day, and he goes to school, and everybody's got those shoes, including Antonio, and he feels bad. But then a recess comes, and the teacher says, okay, leave your shoes in the hallway, and you're going to change into your boots. And that's when he realizes that he has a new pair of boots in his backpack, and he gets to wear those new boots that nobody else has ever worn before. And then he and Antonio go out and play, and Antonio says, thank you, for the shoes. It's a lovely little story. Okay. So while you are familiarizing yourself with the text, I want you to remember that essayists read stories, they gather evidence from the story, and they prove an idea that they have. So today you're going to actually write a little mini essay, kind of like this. This is going to be my video, the one that I'm making right now, which is why there's an empty space here. But you're going to name the story. So in the story, Those Shoes by Mary Beth Bolts. And you're going to tell a little bit about the story, just like 2 sentences. You're not going to give too much of the story away. You're going to state a big, bold opinion or your thesis statement about it. Maybe it's that thing about the character. Maybe it's about the lesson that Mary Beth Bolts wants us all to learn. Or maybe it's, about how Jeremy changes. Okay, you decide. And you'll come up with a character trait, or you'll come up with a lesson learned, or you'll come up with the reason or the explanation as to how he changes. And then you're going to go back into the story and get evidence to prove. Now, sometimes evidence is just a general statement about what happens in this particular part of the story to prove your idea. And sometimes it's a specific quote. I want you to try both today. When you give your 3 pieces of evidence, one of those is probably going to be a quote. All right. And then your last little bit, you'll restate the thesis. Maybe you'll say what happens at the end of the story. Maybe you'll give the lesson that the character learns, depending on what you write. Okay. So on the second slide, you'll see here that it says today's writing. You're going to watch the video, which you're doing right now. Yay, you've already got the first thing checked off the list. You're going to reread Those Shoes, kind of like we did, but really read it. Then you're going to decide if you want to prove a character trait, a lesson learned, or a change that happens with the character. Then you're going to write your little mini essay in your notebook. And if you don't have, you can say, I don't have a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, you're going to write it on a piece of paper. Then you're going to tape that paper into your notebook when you go back to school next week. Then you're going to read this little mini essay here that I wrote, and you're going to use it to make sure that you've done everything that we want you to do. What is here is also here. This is the chart that tells you what to do. This is my example of an essay. Look at in the story, Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson. Readers learn about a girl named Chloe who is at first unkind to a new student named Maya. Do you see? Maya is shy and different. Do you see how I kind of just gave like a brief sort of outline of what the story is? And as a result, the students treat her very badly. And now here's my big bold statement. In this story, readers can see that Maya becomes withdrawn. That's my story. That's my bold statement. Now, each one of these little mini paragraphs is going to prove that Maya is withdrawn. One way we see that she's withdrawn, another time we see that she's withdrawn, and still another time that we see that Maya is withdrawn. And each of those things gives text evidence to prove it. One of them, actually two of them, I actually quote. How she's withdrawn when she looks down at the floor, and how she is withdrawn when she stands by the fence holding the jump rope all by herself. Okay. And then that last paragraph, I say what happens in the end. In the end, Maya moves away and the isolation wins. No one in the school gets a chance to make it right. These examples show that the students become more rude and exclusive with her, and then she becomes more withdrawn. Or as the students become more rude, she becomes more withdrawn. Okay. So you watch this video, you read these slides, have a look at what my example is, and have a go. I believe you can fly. I believe you can touch the sky. Spread your wings and fly away. Please tell me to stop singing today. You can see why I became a teacher and not a singer. Okay, my loves. You have a great rest of your day. I can't wait to see what you write. Bye-bye.